Welcome to my channel. What you're about to hear is not just a story. It's a scream for justice. A story that should have never happened. That's how disturbing this case is. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss stories like this one. Sabrina Kouider was born on December 5th, 1982, in Algeria. When she was just 8 years old, her family fled the Algerian Civil War and moved to France. Most of her life would be spent growing up in Paris. Details about her early childhood are scarce, but we do know she came from a modest background and was the eldest child in her family. From her teenage years, it was clear that something wasn't quite right. She was loud, attention-seeking, constantly starting fights, and often claimed to be the victim just to get people to notice her. She had this inflated sense of importance, believing everyone was watching her, and if another girl happened to glance her way, Sabrina would instantly see her as a threat. She once picked a fight with a girl just because she believed the girl had looked at her wrong. She was unpredictable, aggressive, and never afraid to get physical if she felt challenged. Sabrina's behavior worsened over time. She targeted people weaker than her, trying to dominate them just to prove her own power. With her family struggling financially, she began working as a teenager, often in unsafe environments. Eventually, she became addicted to injectable drugs and regularly used other substances like cocaine. One night, overwhelmed by everything, Sabrina took a dangerous amount of pills, an act she later said was meant to help her forget the pain of her childhood. Whether it was a cry for help or something deeper, no one really knew. But it marked the beginning of a dark and chaotic spiral. At age 18, she jumped off the 4th floor of a building. She survived, but her spine was badly damaged, leaving her in chronic pain. This gave her exactly what she always craved: attention. She was suddenly surrounded by people caring for her, watching her. The pain also gave her a reason to consume even more tranquilizers. By 19, she had set up a small pancake stand in Paris, where she met a man named Sam. Sam was 24 at the time. He fell for her fast, hard, and hopelessly. Sabrina kept her darker traits hidden at first, but they eventually showed. Despite her explosive outbursts and toxic behavior, Sam stayed. And when she cheated on him, not once, not twice, but over 10 times, Sam still forgave her every time. She even had a child with one of the men she cheated with, and still, Sam stayed. He was completely under her control. When she was 22, Sabrina got bored with her life. She wanted something more glamorous. She'd always dreamed of being a fashion designer, not just any designer, but one who dressed celebrities. So she packed her things and moved to London, without even telling Sam. When he found out, he followed her there. That's how deep his obsession ran. In London, Sabrina took up babysitting jobs, while Sam found work at a bank. Eventually, Sabrina convinced Sam to marry her, unofficially. It wasn't a legal marriage, but they lived as husband and wife. He was her shadow, always there, always cleaning up the wreckage she left behind. Her big break came when she met Mark Walton, a successful musician and co-founder of the boy band Boyzone. Mark had worked with artists like Lady Gaga, Jennifer Lopez, and countless others. He was wealthy, famous, and, in Sabrina's eyes, a golden ticket. She caught his attention, charmed him, and started a relationship with him, dropping Sam without a second thought. This was everything she had wanted: parties, photos with celebrities, designer clothes. But the attention she craved still eluded her. Everyone looked at Mark, not her. She was just the girlfriend. And this ignited a firestorm of insecurity inside her. She started accusing Mark of ignoring her, not loving her enough. She spiraled. She believed that Mark's friends hated her. Her delusions escalated, paranoia took over. She planted hidden cameras in their home to catch Mark cheating. She began physically abusing him, even punching him while he was sleeping. Eventually, Mark ended the relationship, unable to endure her erratic behavior. Sabrina, unsurprisingly, ran back to Sam, who, of course, took her back with open arms. Soon, she became pregnant again. No one really knew who the father was. It might have been Mark, or it might have been someone else entirely. Mark, unsure, continued to financially support her, paying over £12,000 over 5 months. All he asked in return was a paternity test, something Sabrina refused. Instead, she kept demanding money, saying it was his duty. When he stopped sending the payments, Sabrina saw red. She began plotting her revenge. She filed false police reports, claiming Mark had sent her threatening messages. When that failed, she called his friends and accused him of being a pedophile and even of having relations with animals. None of it was true. Sabrina didn't even own a cat, but logic had long since left the picture. When that didn't work, she created fake social media accounts to spread lies about him online. She told the world that Mark was stalking her, sending drones to her house, spying on her life. Over time, she made 30 false police reports against him. Eventually, the authorities stopped listening. At the same time, she and Sam had become unbearable neighbors. Their building management was constantly getting complaints. They parked their car wherever they wanted, threw trash wherever they pleased, and physically threatened people who asked for rent. Somehow, despite the chaos, Sabrina managed to weasel her way into showing designs at Paris Fashion Week 2014, taking photos with celebrities, all while her personal life was collapsing. She needed help at home. She placed an ad for a live-in nanny, and that's how Sophie Lionnet entered this tragic story. Sophie was born in 1996. Sweet, gentle, and kind, with a heart full of love for children and animals. She was quiet, polite, and always wore a soft smile. When she saw the ad, she was hopeful. It felt like a chance for a new life in London. She barely spoke English, but she shared a language with Sabrina. Both spoke fluent French, so she took the job. But what she found was not a family, it was a prison. Sophie cooked, cleaned, bathed the children, did all the housework, and for all that, she was paid just £50 a week. Eventually, they stopped paying her altogether. They told her she should feel grateful just for a roof over her head and a plate of food. Then things got worse. Sabrina, overwhelmed by jealousy and spiraling paranoia, became convinced that Sophie was secretly involved with Mark, spying on her. Sophie didn't even know who Mark was, but that didn't matter. In Sabrina's mind, the verdict was already decided. She started yelling at Sophie, demanding confessions, threatening her. Sophie tried to leave, told her mother she wasn't safe. Her mother bought her a plane ticket home, but she never got to use it. On August 2017, Sabrina dragged Sophie to the police station and tried to force her to confess to being Mark's spy. The police quickly realized something was off. They let Sophie go, but she had no money, nowhere to go. She returned to Sabrina's house. That's when the real horror began. Sabrina and Sam took Sophie's passport. They locked her in a room, dark, cold, and small, for 12 days. They filmed her. They interrogated her. They starved her. They beat her. They tortured her. They broke her ribs, her jaw. They held her head underwater in the bathtub again and again. She was a 21-year-old girl, hungry, terrified, alone in a foreign country, with no one to save her. Eventually, just to survive, Sophie said what they wanted to hear. Yes, I did it. I was working with Mark. She thought that would be her freedom. Instead, it was her death sentence. That night, Sabrina and Sam killed her in the bathtub. Then, in an act too twisted to comprehend, they celebrated beside her body. They later dragged her body to the backyard, doused it in accelerant, and set it on fire. Neighbors smelled the burning. They called the fire department. When the firemen arrived, they were told it was a lamb carcass. But when they extinguished the flames, they found human remains. Sabrina and Sam were arrested immediately. At trial, they claimed innocence. But police had found the videos, the interrogations, the abuse, everything. There was no denying it. Psychologists diagnosed Sabrina with depression and personality disorders. But the court found her fully responsible. Both she and Sam were sentenced to life in prison. Sophie Lionnet was only 21 years old when she died. Her memorial in 2018 was attended by over 150 people, all united by grief and a deep, burning sense of injustice. Now, here are some safety tips inspired by the Sophie Lionnet case. These are designed to raise awareness, especially for young women, au pairs, international workers, and anyone moving to a foreign country for work or caregiving. 1. Always verify who you're working for. Before accepting a live-in job, especially in another country, thoroughly research the employer. Look them up online. Search their social media. Check for reviews or past employee feedback. If something feels off, trust that feeling. 2. Avoid accepting jobs without a written contract. Verbal agreements may seem convenient, but they can easily be twisted or denied. Always ask for a formal work contract that clearly outlines your hours, responsibilities, salary, and accommodations. If an employer avoids this step, it's a red flag. 3. Have an exit plan before you move. If you're relocating for work, especially overseas, always plan for the what if. Keep a small emergency fund, know where your nearest embassy or consulate is, and write down the contact info for local shelters or expat groups. 4. Share your location with people you trust. Let your family or friends know your full address, who you're living with, and where you work. Schedule regular check-ins, even if just a message a day. If those check-ins stop, someone should notice. 5. Secure and control your own identification. Never give your passport or ID to an employer. It's illegal for them to keep it. If they insist, that's a major sign of control or potential abuse. Keep your ID locked and hidden somewhere only you can access. 6. Pay attention to early signs of manipulation. If your employer starts isolating you, calling you names, making false accusations, or turning others against you, these are warning signs. It often starts subtly, but it can escalate fast. 7. Don't normalize abuse or overwork. It might start with just helping out beyond your duties until you're cooking, cleaning, parenting, and being underpaid or not paid at all. If you're exhausted, scared, or treated unfairly, that's not part of the job. 8. Know that intimidation is not love or protection. People who shout at you, threaten you, or guilt you into staying are not helping you. That's control. Even if they tell you it's for your own good, abuse wrapped in concern is still abuse. 9. Seek help, even if your English isn't perfect. If you're in a foreign country and feel unsafe, don't let the language barrier stop you. Go to the nearest police station, hospital, or embassy. Many have translators. Your safety matters more than your accent. 10. If someone accuses you falsely, document everything. If someone starts blaming you for things you didn't do, try to keep a journal or take photos of your surroundings. Record dates, incidents, and save messages. This can protect you legally if things spiral out of control. 11. Know that you are not alone. No matter how trapped you feel, someone out there cares. A friend, a neighbor, a hotline worker, or even a stranger online. There are people trained to help in abusive situations, and they can get you out. 12. If you're a neighbor, don't ignore strange signs. Unusual screaming, smells, or visible fear from someone nearby are not just drama. Be the person who reports it. You could save a life. Final note. Sophie Lionnet was a kind, gentle girl who never deserved what happened to her. Her life could have been saved if the system had protected her better, or if someone had intervened earlier. Let her story be a warning, but more importantly, let it be a call to action. If you're ever in doubt or fear, reach out. If you're ever witnessing something that doesn't feel right, speak up. You may be the only lifeline someone has. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And please, if this story moved you, subscribe to my channel for more true stories like this one.